Imagine you are standing right here, at the Earth's equator. The sun beats down, heating the ground directly beneath you. But if you look up from that sweltering spot, you might see something completely unexpected, a mountain peak covered in freezing snow and mist. To make sense of that contradiction, we have to look past the daily weather. Weather is just what's happening outside your window right now, like a sudden afternoon thunderstorm. Climate is the long-term pattern of that weather, measured over 35 years or more. It operates as an invisible set of rules that governs exactly why some places are boiling hot and others stay freezing cold. One of those major rules is altitude. As you travel higher above sea level, the air gets thinner and loses its ability to hold heat. This is why the peaks of the Rwenzori Mountains stay frozen even while sitting directly on the hot equator. A region's temperature isn't solely determined by how close it sits to the sun. Our climate is a massive, invisible machine, driven by physical forces that shape every inch of the land. This map shows Africa as a balanced mirror. The green central equatorial band receives intense heat and heavy rain year-round. Stepping outside, the tropical savanna brings alternating wet and dry seasons before moisture vanishes entirely into massive, harsh desert zones at the extreme edges. Down on the ground, that deep green central band on the map translates into dense, waterlogged tropical forests, while the brown zones at the edges of the map give way to miles of barren, rolling sand dunes. This pattern shows us that latitude, your exact geographic distance from the equator, sets the baseline for heat and moisture. It draws strict borders around what plants and animals can survive in each region. But even within these distinct zones, you will sometimes find massive amounts of rain falling on one specific area, while a flat plain just a few miles away stays completely dry. This animated diagram illustrates relief rainfall. Massive mountains block ocean winds. Warm, wet air crashes into the slope, rising to form heavy rain clouds. As this air sinks down the opposite leeward side, it loses its moisture, leaving the landscape totally dry and barren. These invisible rules dictate exactly how African communities work, what they eat, and how they live. The alternating wet and dry seasons of the tropical savanna provide the ideal grasslands for large-scale cattle teeping. And at the very top and bottom tips of the continent, the unique wet winters and dry summers perfectly support specialized fruit and wine farming. From ocean winds to the height of a mountain peak, these invisible natural forces are the true architects shaping human life. For centuries, this geographic machine has hummed along in a predictable rhythm, but today, that reliability is fading as human actions begin to pull the gears of the system apart. Think of a thick forest as a living water pump. Trees pull moisture from the soil and release it into the air as invisible breath, a process called transpiration, which creates the very clouds that eventually bring rain back to the ground. When we clear massive stretches of forest for timber or charcoal, we physically remove those natural water pumps. Without them, the local atmosphere is starved of moisture, leading directly to severe droughts. At the same time, factory complexes and vehicle exhaust pipes pump greenhouse gases up into the sky. This creates a thick, invisible blanket that traps the sun's heat around the globe. Modern climate change is the direct, measurable consequence of humans dismantling the natural machinery that keeps our continent fertile and green. Because we are the ones who disrupted this balance, we also have the knowledge and the power to restore it. The most immediate step is planting new trees to replace what we've lost. Rebuilding those forest water pumps will slowly restart the moisture cycle and bring back the rains. We also need to fiercely protect our natural wetlands and swamps. Rather than draining them to build upon, we have to preserve them as the Earth's natural water filters and storage tanks. Finally, we must transition away from burning charcoal and fossil fuels, moving instead toward clean, renewable sources of power. Modern technology is making this possible right now, allowing rural homes to harvest the sun's energy directly without releasing a single trace of smoke. Learning how our climate works is the instruction manual we must follow if we want to keep our continent green, fertile, and alive for the generations to come.